Hello students. In the previous session, we discussed different parts associated with our alimentary canal, especially the oral cavity, right? In that we studied about palate, tongue, and even we discussed about teeth. Now let us continue the remaining parts of the alimentary canal. You know, our digestive system is divided into two parts. One is alimentary canal, another one is the associated glands. As you already know that if you imagine this is our oral cavity that joins with which one? Nasal cavity from the nose. Alva, nose in the arise agua cavity called nasal cavity. This is the mouth cavity called oral cavity. Both join and form a 12 centimeter long canal. This 12 centimeter long canal can be called what? That is called pharynx, or you commonly call it as ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಿ? Throat, ಗಂಟಲು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ. Now, this pharynx can be divided into three regions. What are they? The three regions of the pharynx are: number one, part of the pharynx that receives which cavity? Nasal cavity. This region is called nasopharynx. What is nasopharynx? Part of the pharynx which receives nasal cavity is called nasopharynx. Number two, part of the pharynx which receives which cavity? Oral cavity. Hence it is called, yes, you can guess, it is called oropharynx. Okay, both nasopharynx, oropharynx together form a common passage. Can you see? This common passage is called laryngopharynx. What is that called? Laryngopharynx. Why the term laryngo? I will tell you shortly. Okay, these are the three regions of the pharynx. And very important point when we speak about this pharynx is, from the pharynx one canal will arise. Okay, nothing but from the throat one canal will arise. This canal later join with your which one? Middle ear. Okay, this canal is called Eustachian Canal. What is that called? Eustachian Canal is the one that arises from the pharynx or throat, okay, from inside, and later it joins with our which one? Middle ear. You know, our ear is divided into three regions. What are they? Outer ear, which is the visible part, middle ear, and inner ear. Inner ear is the main site where hearing will be done, right? It is very important that between outer ear and middle ear, air pressure should be equalized. Air pressure should be balanced between outer ear and inner ear. That is helped by, then only what happens is we have a eardrum. That eardrum will vibrate. When I speak these words, when you listen, the sound waves will go and hit to your eardrum. Eardrum will vibrate only when the outer environmental and the inner inside the middle ear pressure are in the equal condition, stabilized condition. So that is achieved with the help of Eustachian Canal. I repeat, the job of the Eustachian Canal is it equalizes air pressure between pharynx and middle ear. Pharynx and middle ear. 1 mark question, which is a very narrow opening. Okay, now the food that I have consumed, nothing but as you place the food in your oral cavity, it mixes with saliva and becomes a soft ball like structure. What is that soft ball like structure formed here called? That is called bolus. Now your bolus or the food also comes to your pharynx. Meanwhile the inhaled air, which one? I will just say oxygen. Okay, we are not just inhaling oxygen, we are inhaling mixture of gas, but anyhow the inhaled air also comes to pharynx. The consumed food also comes to your pharynx. Now the question, where they should go? If you observe the laryngopharynx or the common region, which divides into or which leads to two openings. Okay, pharynx leads to how many opening? Two. Anterior opening is called glottis. Edurugade opening is called glottis and the posterior opening is called gullet. Okay, anterior opening glottis will lead to our voice box and our voice box is called larynx. What you will call our voice box as? Larynx. Okay, it is a hollow canal. It is not a solid mass. It has a canal inside for the flow of the air. Now what happens? This larynx then continue into our windpipe. Our windpipe is called, any idea? What is that called? Trachea. This trachea later divide into two branches which are called primary bronchi. Which then enter inside your lungs. Here one more lung is there. Now this primary bronchi, as it enter inside the lung, will divide again and again and finally lead to your what? Alveoli, right? No. So what I am trying to tell you here is a part of the pharynx lead to glottis, to larynx, to trachea, to lungs. Nothing but your which system? Respiratory system. This concept I will deal in detail in my next chapter, that is breathing and exchange of gas. Meanwhile, as this chapter is related to digestive system, if you look at here, the posterior opening of the pharynx called what? Gullet. This gullet will continue into a 25 centimeter long tube. This 25 centimeter long tube is called what? Esophagus. And we know this esophagus later lead to our stomach, that we will see later. Now try to understand. The eaten food should go through gullet to esophagus to stomach. Meanwhile, the inhaled gas oxygen, which also came to your pharynx, the oxygen should enter to glottis, passes through larynx, trachea and comes to your larynx. So what I can say here is pharynx is the common passage for digestive system and even for the respiratory system. I repeat this statement. Pharynx is the common passage for digestive system as well as respiratory system. The inhaled food air comes to pharynx, goes to respiratory system. Eaten food or the bolus comes to pharynx and passes through our alimentary canal. Now the question is, when the food is present here, the food can enter to your glottis and go to larynx, right? No, because it is a passage. But do it happens? No. Why? Because the glottis is covered by a cartilaginous structure. Okay, glottis is covered by what kind of structure? I will write here. Cartilaginous. You know, one structure in our body which is very hard is bone. Very hard. Another one which found covering the ends of the bone, in the tip of the nose, in the ear pinna. What is that called? Cartilage. The cartilaginous structure that cover the opening of glottis is called, I will write here, what is this called? Epiglottis. Glottis covered by epiglottis. Sometime you make a mistake. The anterior opening called glottis, posterior opening called epiglottis. No, posterior opening called gullet. What is epiglottis? It is a cartilaginous structure that cover the glottis. Clear? Now, what is the job of this glottis? Try to understand. This epiglottis will open and close only while breathing. That is during inspiration and expiration, only that period it opens and closes. Whereas while swallowing of the food, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಫುಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಈ ಫುಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ವ್ಯಾಲೋ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ, while swallowing of the food, okay, the process of swallowing is also called deglutition. One mark question. What is deglutition? The process of swallowing. Mark it as a 1 mark question. While swallowing of the food, the epiglottis remain closed. Very important. While swallowing of the food, to prevent the entry of food to respiratory system, the epiglottis remain closed. Which one? Glottis will prevent the entry of food. While having food, if you speak, the speech is because of breathing. Right now, ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, that is because of breathing, inspiration and mainly expiration ಆಗಬೇಕು. By holding your breath, you can't speak. So you are having the food, right? You are speaking that time. Or a condition, imagine you have done a very heavy physical activity, just now you have completed a one sports or outdoor game, something. During your heavy physical activity, breathing rate will be very high inspiration and expiration. In both the situation, ಊಟ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, epiglottis open and close. You have completed the physical activity, that time breathing rate is high, epiglottis open and close. In both the cases, if you eat food or drink water respectively, if you eat food, there are chances that the food may go to your respiratory system. If you drink water, the water may enter to your respiratory system. Now what happens? Can it be kept inside? No. It should be immediately removed. How? By the act of coughing. Cow, right? It is not about corona. Try to understand. By the act of coughing. What is coughing? Coughing is a expiration. It is a jerky, incomplete expiration. By that act, the food entered to the respiratory system. We will remove it out. Is that clear? Now the another opening is glottis, gullet, which is meant for the entry of food to our digestive system or the alimentary canal. Another point I want to share with you here. Try to understand. This is my larynx. Can you see? This is Adam's apple. Here is my larynx or the voice box, which continue into windpipe called trachea. When you use a knife and cut the neck, okay, you might have seen the villains who are killing someone. They never use the cut the person neck from this side. They always cut from here, right? Why? Because when the knife is inserted, what happens? First, which one is going to cut? Trachea is going to cut. Thereby you will find breathing difficulty. Breathe ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ನೈಫ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಇದರ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಬರುವ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಯಾವುದು? Esophagus is going to cut. It is not the training of killing. I just told you the fact. Hope it is clear. Now I will continue here about which one? Esophagus. It is a muscular canal that arises from the pharynx and continues through the neck region, then passes through the chest region. It pierces the diaphragm. You know, here is a diaphragm, and finally it joins with your what? It joins with the stomach. I repeat, esophagus is a muscular canal. What do you mean by muscular? Made up of muscle, arises from the pharynx, continues through neck, chest region, pierce the diaphragm, and later lead to stomach. What is the job of esophagus? Esophagus helps in swallowing. While swallowing of the food, it shows a wave-like contraction. The wave-like contraction of the esophagus to push the food or bolus toward stomach is called peristalsis. One mark question. What is peristalsis? It is the wave-like contraction in the wall of the esophagus to push the food toward the stomach. Very simple. I will show the same thing to you. Imagine this is esophagus. Okay, this is the lower end. This is the upper end. Let me draw the same thing once again. I will draw it once again. Now imagine what happens is, as from the pharynx food enter to esophagus, what happens, just behind the food the wall undergo contraction. The wall will be contracted, because of which the food is pushed a little ahead, nothing but toward the stomach. Now again what happens here, the esophagus undergo contraction, right? The food is again pushed, right? Once again contraction, the food is pushed. So this wave like contraction, the wave like contraction in the wall of the esophagus to push the food or the bolus towards stomach is called peristalsis. Okay. Another very important feature of this esophagus is the upper opening called gullet is lined by or it is covered by a sphincter. What is a sphincter? Sphincter in the alimentary canal is the one which usually allow one-way movement of the food. I repeat, sphincter in the alimentary canal is the one which allow only one-way movement of the food. As bolus comes here, this sphincter in the upper region of the esophagus, I label it here, which is called upper esophageal sphincter. What is that called? Upper esophageal sphincter will open and allow the food to esophagus. There is a wave-like contraction in the esophagus called peristalsis. Now, as the food reaches here, because of peristalsis, which one will relax? The sphincter present at the lower end of the esophagus. My dear students, it is very simple. The one which is in the upper end is called upper esophageal sphincter. The one which is in the lower end can be called, yes, lower esophageal what? Sphincter. I already told you what is the job of sphincter. They allow one-way movement of the food and usually prevent the backflow. Okay, that is called sphincter. Okay, this is the lower esophageal sphincter found between esophagus and stomach. As it is found between esophagus and stomach, the lower esophageal sphincter is also called gastroesophageal sphincter. Right? What do you mean by gastro? Right? Some say, is there gastric problem? Do you have gastric problem? Is there gastritis? In biology, gastro refers to stomach. As the sphincter is between gastro, nothing but stomach, and esophagus, it is called gastroesophageal sphincter, nothing but lower esophageal sphincter. In general, dear students, this esophagus plays a very important role in which one? Swallowing by the act called peristalsis. Is that clear? Next, if you move on, the next part is stomach, which is a 1.5 liter muscular canal. It is also made up of muscle. The space inside the stomach can be divided into 4 regions. What are they? This upper part of the stomach, which is bulged, usually filled with the gas, right? This is called fundus. F-U-N-D-U-S. When food comes to your stomach, reaction occur. Because of the reaction, gas is released. This gas usually gets accumulated here. This gas accumulated region or the bulged region is called fundus. Part of the stomach that is in front of the esophagus is called cardiac. Even though I call this region as cardiac, it is not associated with the heart. Usually in biology, cardiac, cardiology, cardiologist is the one which is related to heart, right? Cardio refers to heart. Even though I call it as cardiac, it is not related to heart. It is called so because it is found near the heart. Which region? Cardiac region found near the heart. That's why it is named. Is that clear? Now, the central part, this part of the stomach is called what? Body of the stomach, and the terminal part of the stomach is conical. This conical region is called pylorus or pyloric. I repeat, the 1.5 liter muscular bag called stomach is divided into 4 regions. Upper bulged air-filled region called fundus. Part of the stomach in front of esophagus is called cardiac. The central part called body. Terminal, very important, hegide, conical structure called as what? Region called pyloric or the pylorus. As the sphincter or the lower esophageal sphincter is near to cardiac region of the stomach, that's why this sphincter is given with the another name. First name you know, second name you know, the third name is cardiac sphincter. What is that called? Cardiac sphincter. When you hear this term in the NEET exam, your cerebrum not supposed to go to heart. Okay, there is no word called cardiac sphincter in my heart. There are different valves that you have studied in your previous classes, like tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, but there is no valve called cardiac valve or the cardiac sphincter. It is not associated with heart, it is associated with the stomach, found in between stomach and esophagus. The 3 names I have told you there. Is that clear? Now, when the stomach is empty, empty stomach has numerous such foldings. The foldings in the wall of the stomach, okay, are called, these foldings are called rugae. What they are called? Rugae. These rugae are found in the stomach. That's why they are also called gastric rugae. What are gastric rugae? 1 mark question. They are the foldings in the wall of the stomach. Please, this is the wall of the stomach. Try to understand. Okay, wall of the stomach. This wall of the stomach will fold and form rugae. What is the function of rugae? 1 mark question. Once again, you have to note down every time I say 1 mark, 2 mark. It is very important. What is the job of rugae? It increases, it increases surface area for storage of food. Storage of food. I repeat, as you eat, as the food comes to your stomach, as it gets filled with more and more food, the rugae starts stretching. Rugae starts stretching, right? Your flat stomach become little bit stretched, right? It is because of the stretching of the rugae to increase the surface area for not absorption. Surface area for what? Storage of more and more food. Okay, if you again observe this wall of the stomach, which has numerous microscopic glands, the glands present in the wall of the stomach are referred as gastric glands. Usually we will not label here, just for understanding purpose I told you. Here is your liver, which is outside, totally outside. Right? Here is your pancreas. Try to understand, the gland called gastric gland is not outside. It is in the wall of the stomach. Where is gastric gland? What is gastro? Stomach. The wall of the stomach has a microscopic gland that is called gastric gland, which secrete a juice called what? Gastric juice. This gastric juice is acidic or alkaline? Yes, it is acidic due to the presence of what? HCl. It is acidic. Now try to understand. Lot of acidic juice called gastric juice is released to the cavity of the stomach. When you swallow the food during deglutition by peristalsis, the bolus passes through your esophagus and the bolus comes to your stomach. This bolus or the semi-digested food mixes with the gastric juice. Okay, which one? I'm sorry, I will write here. Semi-digested food, or you can call it as bolus, mixes with the gastric juice to form an acidic liquid called what? Chyme. One mark question. What is chyme? Semi-digested food mixes with gastric juice to form an acidic content called chyme. Acidic content called as what? Chyme. Do this chyme will come out? No. When I bend down, when I do yoga, right, do this chyme will come out? No, because in our case the cardiac sphincter is very well developed. It allow only one way movement and prevent what? Backflow. Is that clear? That is the job of cardiac sphincter. But in case of children, 1.5 year, 2 year, up to the age of 1.5 to 2 year, after having the food, if the stomach of the child is pressed, or if you shake that baby, just move that baby, the baby will regurgitate, the baby will vomit whatever content. Just breastfeed ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಆ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ stomach press ಮಾಡಿ content ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದು ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? In the children, cardiac sphincter is poorly developed. As the child grow, the development of the cardiac sphincter occur, which is well developed in our case. In some rare cases, okay, cardiac sphincter will fail to close. Not in all. In some cases, if cardiac sphincter fail to close, the chyme which is acidic may leak to esophagus, which result in burning sensation in the esophagus. This is called heartburn. Have you heard? What is that called? Heartburn. Some say my heart is burning. Do it is really associated with the problem of the heart? No, not at all. What is heartburn? It is due to the failure of the cardiac sphincter. If chyme leaks to esophagus, burning sensation is experienced. As the burning occurs here, as our heart is in the region of chest, we say heartburn. It is the failure of the cardiac sphincter. Now you will ask, what? Why there is only burning in the esophagus even though the chyme is present in the stomach? Why it is not burning here? The answer is the wall of the stomach is made up of very thick layer of mucus when compared to the mucus in the esophagus. I repeat, wall of the stomach is made up of very thick layer of the mucus. This very thick mucus neutralizes acidic nature of the chyme. Thick mucus neutralizes acidic nature of the chyme, but the mucus present in the wall of the esophagus is very thin. That's why the burning sensation will occur. This is all related to study of which one? Stomach. What are the functions of stomach? It helps in storage of food. Number 2, it produces a juice called gastric juice with the help of gastric gland. It helps in the formation of what? Acidic chyme. These are the functions.